Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Leilu Nishmas Imi Meros Yerusvas Mordechai. It's Erev Rosh Hashanah, and I was debating whether or not I should say this Maisa, but of course, I'm saying this now because I figured I have to be true to my Shita, and that is, I'll say a story, even if it's on the borderline of gaiva or whatever it is. If it could help somebody, I'm going to say it. In this case, it makes me look pretty bad. It makes me vulnerable, but I want to share with you the story for a purpose. It was before I started giving the Daf Yomi shir, but I lived here in this neighborhood. I used to daven Pnei Shmuel every morning. I used to take my children to school and then go daven. One morning, I come downstairs to the parking lot, and there's a truck delivering water, blocking the entire parking lot. It's never happened before, it's never happened since. One time, guy blocked the parking lot. So I go over to him and I say, "You're blocking me." He does like this to me. I'm like, "Dude, just if you back up 10 feet, I could get out and everybody could get out." There's 20 cars parked there. I need to deliver the water. So I'm furious. I have to take my kids to school. They're going to be late. I'm going to miss the minyan. Nothing I can do. He delivers the water. He comes back. I'm like, "How do you do this to me?" And as I'm talking to him, he starts taking out more water. Like, "You gonna another delivery?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "No, Atkan. You're not going to deliver. I'm going to make sure you don't deliver the water." He says, "Try me." So he takes out these big 5-gallon jugs. He fills up his thing. I lost it. I go over to him. I take the thing and I flip the whole thing over. And these 5-gallon start rolling down the hill. He starts chasing them. And he delivered the water. Sure. Might have been to you. I don't know. It's like to one of those houses over there, to you, where you live over there. I go. During the day, the morning, the story bothered me a lot. And by Mincha time already, I said, I need to find this guy and ask him Mechila. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to these houses where Noam and Shamshi live. I'm going to knock on the doors over there and find out who gets water and find out what company and try to find the truck driver. It's going to be a mess, but I have to do it. I daven Mincha, get into my car by Yisroel over there, and lo and behold, the same truck passes by my car. Like, this is a sign from Hashem. This is great. So I start chasing him. He pulls into a building. I pull into the building. He gets out of the truck. I get out of my car. And the guy think to himself, "Oh no, this guy's nuts. He tracked me down." So I see that he's getting in this defensive. I said, "Listen, no, I came to ask you Mechila. I don't know what came over me. I didn't sleep much last night. I gave him a whole speech. I want to ask you Mechila." And he goes like this to me. I don't remember who did what, but Bekitzer, came over to him, gave him a big hug. We hugged it out. This is a non-religious Jew. I let go. I see he has tears in his eyes. Pasha crying. So the reason I'm saying this story, I look like I'm a Meshugana, okay? Little anger problem. But sitting over here all year long, I know that I insulted people. I made fun of people, made some jokes on different people's accounts. I made people come late to shul, to dropping off their kids. So I want to ask the Olam Mechila, and please say it b'peh maleh, say I'm moichel Eli. Sometimes I didn't act appropriately. And I'm asking Mechila, with that being said, the Olam should have a 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐮𝐫 𝐑𝐇, a good geben shiar, a year of more Torah, more avodah, more connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Simcha, psuris toivos, shalom bayis, nachas from the kids, parnasa berevach.
Hug it out.
Good move. Avi, why is my water cold? Why is it hot? It is a fast day. I was hacking. That was just like after the Prus Bowl, you're supposed to lend a little money So after you ask Mechila, you have to insult one person, and like this, you go into Rosh Hashanah. Since Noam wasn't here last night, I need to tell you that we're going into Tafshin Gimel, Pei Gimel, and leaving Tafshin Pei Beis. Guess what 2 daf we're learning on Rosh Hashanah? Pei Beis on the first day and Pei Gimel on the second day. Unbelievable. Do we have a second here? So Rabbi Yisroel, there's a video that came out. It's Erev Rosh Hashanah. It's a time that people like to give tzedakah. So we have, come on in, Doc. MDY monthly is a concept where you could give MDY on a monthly basis. You 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐮𝐫 mitzvah to the highest degree of tzedakah. Check it out, MDYmonthly.com. I'll show you the video a different time. No, not that one. Says CS from Staten Island, I've not missed a day listening to your shir since 𝐒𝐢𝐻 Daf Beis. I'm really worried for this coming month. Since I'm in America, it's very hard once a yontif to catch up in the night listening to 2 shiurim. I know I can learn it myself. I don't want to break my record. Any chance you could pre-record for the Americans? Thank you and your family for all the time you give us. May Hashem bench all of you, CS Staten Island. Now, if the shir took me a half hour to prepare, no problem. I'll pre-record 6 shiurim, no problem. But usually it takes me all day. And that being said, and with the next email, I'll just read the first line here because it all ties in. Rebelli, I use your YouTube chazara and have done so consistently. Now, so going back to the first email, yes, this is when people fall off the bandwagon. During Yontif, there's a 2-day Yontif. It's hard to learn on Rosh Hashanah. Davening is long, and there's no shir that day, and there's no mechayev. Make it your business to do the daf. And if you don't, not a big deal. What's daf Pei Dalet? A new parak? No, Pei Gimel is a new parak. Okay, jump ahead. I use your YouTube chazar and I've done so consistently since 𝐒𝐲. And couldn't have done Eruvim without it. So he did chazar and Eruv. Having known Rabbi Yosef since his days in Essex, I know his technological skills and I'm truly grateful. So I want to say, Rabbi Yisroel, we have to have a tremendous hakadosh to Yosef. He's here this morning. Shir was over late last night. He goes, it takes him like 4 hours to edit the shir, and he's here now. But Motzei Rosh Hashanah, his job is going to be crazy. He has 2 shiurim to edit. So it's all night. So I want to pre-thank him. And I think the Olam really appreciates it. So Yishkoyach, Hakar Satayv to Yosef. On Friday, he mentioned the Moshe who said it was also to ask the class which student had done something wrong. It reminded me of the famous story. The one with the Rebbe didn't look at the kid. Okay, we'll talk about that a different time. David Lewis, Manchester. The Koilel is sponsored this month for the success of our family and that we merit to always crown Hashem. The Masechta, Lili Nishmas, Yosef Baruch ben Moshe Aaron, and Lili Nishmas, Elazar ben Nata Shalom, and for the hatzlacha for my children. I want to point out 2 people step forward very, very nicely for the Koilel guys. One guy, he asked me, what kind of bonus did you give the Koilel guys? I told him I gave a very, very large bonus to the Koilel guys, sponsored by somebody. So he said, I want to match that bonus. I said, but it's all one big pocket. If you give the Koilel and there's extra money, we'll use it for Gemara. He says, no. I specifically want to give these Koilel guys that work so hard and they don't have a big income. So I said, okay, fine. So 2 people stepped up, unbelievable. They're not in this list or anything, it just happens to be over $10,000 each gave. Beautiful. So the Masechta is sponsored by Jeff Rosner. In zchus of my son, Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Chana, we said last night, we need a big refuah here. Refuah Shlaima. Rest of the Masechta is sponsored by Ofishel Mitzva Motivators. For Refuah Shlaima, for Avraham Mנשה ben Chana, bracha, and Eli Stefansky ben Moshe is the first sponsor of the month. Second sponsor of the month, the MDY Family. What happened there? It's falling off. We're missing that clip. If anybody sees the clip, it's somewhere around there. The MDY Family sponsored Eli Nishmas Ezra 𝐒𝐢𝐻𝐿 ben 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐮𝐫 Ezra Pollak. Third sponsor by the Lock and Lebovic families Lakewood NJ because Torah is the best segula. Paras HaChodesh number 4, Refuah Shlaima for Yecheskel ben Leah. Paras HaChodesh number 5 is a zchus that Hashem shall watch over me and ensure that I'm completely healthy. Admei v'esr. Li'ilu Nishmas, our grandfather, Rabbi Yisroel Issur ben Kasriel, Rabbi Yisroel Yavne. May today's learning be a zchus for his neshama and a source of comfort for the family. Tziril, Avraham, Yisroel Dov, and Osher Zelig. Farkovitz, very good. Sheldon and Donna Reich, in memory of our fathers Noach ben Yehuda and Nachum ben Pinchas Halevi, and finally Nathan Fruchter, in memory of Jacob Simblima on his 49th yard side. May his neshama have an aliyah. I hope that's, maybe it's Ben. Jacob Ben Blima? That's what it says. S-I-N. Doesn't make so much sense, but okay.
Limited space on them.
Huh?
Limited space for them to fill out. People get creative.
Yeah, but it's the same amount of letters. Ben and Sin. Jacob, I'm going to say Jacob Ben Blima. But if not, it's Jacob Sin Blima on his 49th yard side. May his neshama have an aliyah. Gevaldik. Rabbi Yisai, we are holding on the bottom of Daf Amud Beis by the Gemara. 5 lines up. Iboilu Shomeres Yavam Shemesa Mi Koivro. I don't know if we have to go to the. Okay. Shomeres Yavam, all it means is she's a Yavama. So a woman is married to Reuven on top. Reuven goes bye-bye. She falls the Ibam. She's in a state where we don't know if one of the brothers, Shimon Levi, is going to marry her, not marry her, give her chalitza. She shemeres yam. And she dies. Huh? You're watching. Wow. So you heard about Tafshin Pei and Tafshin Pei Gimel. You didn't want to. But Mendy didn't hear. Oh, you did hear. So why don't you come here live?
You heard it on Bornstein first.
Okay. Who must bury this woman? Now, the person who gives the typically the husband has to bury her, right? But who buries her in this case? You have a yavam, you have her family, his family. Who buries? Yorshei Baal, meaning the yavam karila, the 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐮𝐫, because now that she died, who gets the ksuba that she deserved? The yavam. So the yavam should pay for the burial. Or maybe it's her family has to bury the 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐮𝐫 because they get the nichsei milug. Omer of Amram, Toshma. The Sanya Shimeres Yavam Shemesa. It says Mamish Mefurish. Boy say, you notice what's going on here. Daf Pei Aleph, 80 daf into Kesubos, 80 daf in this amazing Masechta. Yorshei, the Sanya Shimeres Yavam Shemesa. Yorshei Kesubos. The ones the Yavam. Who yarshinzer chayavim b'kfurasa. So it says mefurish yarshei ksubasa. Oisad yarshim she yarshim ksubasa. Yarshei. What does it say by you? What state? Art scroll. Somebody. Yarshei abal. Okay. Yarshei ksubasa chayavim b'kfurasa. The Yorshei Abal, meaning any of the brothers of the husband that died. Okay. I said Yavam. What is he saying? Shemeres Yavam Shemesa. There's a Yavam. Okay. Yorshei Abal, fine. I showed you a picture of a few. The Bekitzer, the Yavam. We call him the Yavam. Based on yesterday's Mishnah. The Yavam. Yorshei Ksubasa Chayam B'Kfurasa. Amar Abaye. Afanan Nami Tanina. We also learned. Almana nizaines menichse yisaimim. So we're talking about a regular almana. There's yisaimim here, and the yisaimim have to support this almana. Umaisi yudei shalahen, and because they support her, they get her maisi yudayim, they get her salary. Ve'ein chayavim b'kfurasa, but they don't have to pay for her burial. Yorshei ksubasa, the yorshim. It's a double lashon. Yorshei ksubasa chayavim b'kfurasa. Now, what is this mission talking about? We're not talking about a Yavama here. We're talking about a regular almana. How do we know? So if you look at Taisis on the top, it says like this: Mitur de masnis and daik. We're going into a diuk in the Mishnah. It's unbelievable. Aval ikur masnis and lemayir b'shemer. We're not talking about a Yavama here. El b'stam almana. How do I know? Dakatani minichse yisaimim. There's little orphans here. Now, a person who dies when he has children, There's no yibum here. Nichse Yisayim, the Yisayim have to support her. If they have to support her, that means there's no yibum going on there. Shemeres Yavam, less the Yisayim. So we're not talking about a Yavama. However, because there's an extra lashon here, Yersheha Yershek Subasa Chaim Kfurasa. What does that mean? It's unbelievable. The Mishnah is talking about this case, but the Mishnah used a double lashon, like we're mendaik a pasuk almost, like this extra wording in the Mishnah, which is going to give us a hint to another case of a yivama. Which almana has two people that inherit her? We have her family, we have his family. And it says here that his family has to pay for the burial. Omar Rava. V'leima ach ani yorish. Now I have a back and forth between Rava and Abai. Says Rava, I don't understand. The brother, the Yavam, should say, I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to take everything from my brother because I'm a Yavam. Yeah, we're talking about one Yavam. I'm a Yavam, and therefore I'm entitled to the entire inheritance of my brother. Why should I have to bury the wife? So, in other words, the ksuba, why do I have to bury the wife? To bury the wife because I get the ksuba. Right? That's what we said before. The whole svara is the yavam who inherits the ksuba, when the wife dies, he no longer has to pay out the ksuba, so he gets the ksuba. So in return, he has to bury her. Says Rava, but he's not getting the ksuba from her. He's getting the ksuba from his dead brother. He never got the ksuba from her, so he doesn't owe her anything. Says the Gemara, no, Rabbi, you're wrong. You're saying that the ksuba comes through the brother and never went to the wife, never went to the dead woman. If it went to the yavama, then from the yavama to the yavam, then the yavam should pay for the yavama's burial. But it never went to the yavama. It went straight from his brother to him. Says Abaye, no. We have a rope here with two ends. You can't grab both ends. It's a memanavshach. We call it a memanavshach. Im achiv yoresh memanavshach. If this yavam, the guy that's alive, the brother, steps in instead of his dead brother, then he steps in one for one. Whatever his brother had to do, he has to do. Yikbar zishtai. So therefore, he should have to bury the wife. And if he doesn't want to bury the wife, you think subasa. The ksuba is the kfur is instead of the ksuba, so let him pay the ksuba. This is what I meant to say. I am going to inherit the brother, but I refuse to bury her. Why? And what are you telling me? Oh, but you get the ksuba. This is very interesting. Becomes a little bit. This pasuk over here. Sorry, back. Oh, it says in the ksuba these words: "L'cheshetinasi." When you get married to somebody else, la'acher tidli mashakasav lichi. Then you're entitled to the ksuba. Now it doesn't mean literally when you get married. It means when you're able to get married to somebody else. When you're able to. Now, since she is oimid liibom, so leinidna ksuba ligavais machayim. Okay, now this guy, he wants to marry her. Rashi explains. He wants to be miyabim her. So she can't marry somebody else. She can't marry. If he was going to divorce her, he's going to give her a chalitza and she can marry anybody in the world. Okay, so I can be Mekayim what it says in the Ksuba. We're going to see in a second. It goes according to the Mandalma that you literally darish in the Ksuba. We had this before in Ksubas. Do we darish in the words in the Ksuba like we just darish in the Mishnah? So if I'm going to darish in the words in the Ksuba, when you're able to marry somebody else, then you get your Ksuba. When is that? When she gets chalitza. But if the brother steps in and does yibum, he marries her, so she doesn't get a ksuba. You don't get a ksuba, so I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you anything, then when you die, I don't have to bury you. And who's this who says, oh, so that's it. That's the taina. Now comes Abaya back and says, no. You're darshaning these 5, how many words? 6 words in the ksuba. Not everybody holds you darshan words in the ksuba, literally. Who says you could darshan words in the ksuba? Bishamai. Oh, so I'm going to give you a memon of shach now. Only according to Bishamai, I darshan words. Bishaminu Bishamai darmishtar. Oh, there's another problem here, it says. If I'm going to take these words literally and say she doesn't deserve the ksuba because it says in the ksuba that she has to get married to somebody else, or at least be able to get married to somebody else, and she can, there's another thing that Bishamai holds. Bishamai holds that anything that's oimed likvois, if I owe you money and I have a star that says I owe you money, so it's as if you already collected that money. You already, Rashi uses an interesting lashon. It's as if you have my field more than I own the field. Kigavidam, it's already collected. So this woman who you owe, there's a future ksuba here, she collected it. It's as if it's in her hands. Don't tell me it's not in her hands. Fakert, it is in her hands. She has a ksuba. How do I know this? It's not. Now we're talking about a saita. A saita, a woman whose husband said he was choshid her. How do you say choshid? He suspected her that she was mizana, she was with another man. So he says, come with me to the Beis Hamikdash, you're gonna drink some water. And then what happened was, she got a hitman, boom, 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 they got rid of the husband, he dies. Before she was able to drink the water. Now what's the halacha? Does she get a ksuba or not? She gets a ksuba, even though she doesn't drink the water. She can't drink the water, as the Gemara is going to say in a second. He's dead. No, she doesn't get a ksuba. Why? Either she drinks. If she drinks, she could get a ksuba. Ask the Gemara on the spot. What do you mean she could drink? She cannot drink if she wanted to because her husband is not alive. What it means is bottom line is we have machlokes Bisham Yisrael. Yisrael say she doesn't get the ksuba. Bisham says she does get a ksuba because he's not around. There's no drinking. He owes her a ksuba. Finished. Now we have to understand. What happened? Again, the husband suspected his wife that she was mizana. He says we got to go to the Beis Hamikdash. If she was mizana, does she get a ksuba? No, she doesn't get a ksuba. And now that he's dead, the husband's dead. Now we don't know if she was mizana or not. So why in the world should she get her ksuba? Asked the Gemara. How could she collect the ksuba? So this, says the Gemara, because it's as if she already collected it. She's not the moitzi. You know who the moitzi is? The husband's side is the moitzi. She already has the ksuba in her hands. She never took it out of his bank account. Doesn't matter. When somebody owes somebody money, according to Bisham, it's as if they already collected it. So to an hour sugya, it's as if already she collected it, even though there's a yavam there, and memela, since he doesn't have to pay her the ksuba, so he's chayiv to bury her. Now, this is an interesting question. I can't claim I understand it 100% because we said that this question is based on if you darshan these words on the screen. But now the Gemara is saying, even if you don't darshan these words, but it says it in the ksuba, you can't ignore the fact that it says in the ksuba that you get a ksuba if, by the way, Lauren, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. I never mentioned in public Mazel Tov. Should have a lot of nachas. Sorry. I keep on meaning to say it now. I see you, marriage. Mazel Tov. Big Simcha. Daughter, right? Daughter got married. I don't want to, okay. Shama ishtar oimeli yuzgidor. Ask the Gemara, at the end of the day, even according to Beis Hillel, you need these words. How is it that it's as if she has the ksuba when she never got married to somebody else? She was never able to get married to somebody else. You have a yavam in the way. Yes, she married somebody else. She married the brother-in-law. Why is that not somebody else? The Gemara understood that the brother-in-law steps in instead of his brother. So it's not mamash somebody else. No, it's another person. You're fulfilling at least the words, the literal words of the ksubah. She's marrying somebody else, huh? She's able to marry the yavam. And if she doesn't marry the yavam, he gives her chalitza, noch beser, she can marry anybody in the world. Or Rashi yavam nami kachadami. Sholach Rava Abaya biad Rav Shmaya bar Zera. Rava asked Abaya a question. He sent it with the shliach. Rav Shmaya bar Zera. Umenid the ksuba ligavis mechayim. Could the ksuba be collected in the lifetime of the tziyavam? Vatanya Rebbe Oimer. Shalti zchus. Haroitz Shimko b'nichsi 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐮𝐫 𝐑𝐇. So we had the story yesterday, right? Bill Gates, I looked it up. It's not 130 billion. Only Nebuch, 103 billion. That's what he's worth today. Nebuch, he's very, very far from number one where he used to be. Elon Musk is almost 300 billion. Unbelievable. Okay. So he has $103 billion and he dies without children, and Melinda Gates is a Yavama. So now, Bill Gates, Mark Gates, whatever his name is, he has a big dilemma. He wants to use the $103 billion, but he owes Melinda $3,000. And because he owes those $3,000 of Ksuba, the entire $103 billion literally is Meshubah to Ksuba, and he can't touch the money unless she's Moichel, but she's not. She's smart. No, can't touch it. I'm concerned that you're going to waste $103 billion. I'm not going to have money for my $3,000 Ksuba. Shabbat Yisrael. Mayasa. So what does he do? What's the Eitzah? Im Koyenu, a Koyen can't divorce her, because if he divorces her, he can't marry her back. There's only one Eitzah. Yasa Su'uda v'Yifayas. A little bit of food. Sometimes food goes a long way. We see it, different, I don't know what. You take out a client meal, or the match causing, you give them a few barekahs, and all of a sudden they're donating thousands, whatever it is, you chill, the guy chills out with food. Don't, be careful where you eat, Rabbi Yisai. If somebody offers you a meal, be very careful, be wary. He'll talk nicely to her. I can use $103 billion. Thank you. In Yisroel, if he's a Yisroel, he has a better idea. Megaresh beget, he gives her a divorce. V'yachzer. Okay, so Rashi says right away, later. We're turning the page. Who's the last day sponsor? Moshe Horn? Wow. Erev Rosh Hashanah. In honor of Yankee Baum and Moshe Horn. Bracha hatzlacha 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐮𝐫 Moshe, you should be zchus a year full of avodas Hashem and parnasa b'revach. In honor of my uncle Rabbi Chaim Pressman, and as a zchus for a year filled with mazel bracha hatzlacha, simcha and parnasa b'revach. Ask the Gemara, if according to you, you could collect this ksuba when the yavam is still alive. So what is the big deal? He wants to access the 103 billion. Let him take $3,000. He'll be large. We'll make it 6,000. Put it on the table and say, here's the ksuba, and maybe I can use the rest. I don't understand something. You're asking me a question on the Brisa. We just learned it last night in the Mishnah. It's a much bigger question from the Mishnah. In the Mishnah it says, do not do that. Don't put the money on the table and say this is your ksuba. So all 103 billion is part of the ksuba. Says Gemara, no. In the Mishnah, I'm telling you a good eitzah. I'm saying, put the money aside. You know why? Because most people, shlamazels, if they don't put money aside, they don't have a special account, you know what's going to happen? It's going to disappear, the money. Somehow he'll use it for something else, and he's not going to have the money for it. So put it on the side. What happens if it disappears? You're living in sin. You can't, the Remeir says, you can't live without a ksuba. So you're going to have to, another one. The kids are, so I'm telling you, so don't set this money aside, because if you set this money aside, then the ksuba becomes that money. Like this, you'll have it's meshubah to everything that you have. Because if you don't say so, what about the end? This is your ksuba, it's on the table. A person should not do it to his regular wife. Forget about a yavam. Everything is meshubah to his wife. Ask the Gemara, why can he sell? What's preventing this person from selling things? So obviously we were just giving good advice. By us also. But at the end of the day, why does Rabbi Abba say his eitzah? That what? You should divorce this Yavama, divorce her for a day or two, and then remarry her. I have a much better idea. Take the money, put it on the side. According to you, that you could be goyvek subim mechayim. Says the Gemara, the Rabbi Abba namiloi kashyo mishum eva, because there'll be a big fight. So you have to see this Rashi over here, mishum eva, like literally next to where we just left off. Mishum eva hamiyachid liishtoi oy karkoi mentalton. If a person sets aside and tells his wife, here's your money, don't worry about it. If we ever get divorced, here's your money, you can take it right over here, it's in this closet. Noisen evas oilam beineim. I love that lashon. There's the fight lasts forever. Why? The savra in of noisen begirushin, because she's thinking to herself, why did he set it aside? Obviously he wants to divorce me soon. Now listen to this. This guy divorces her. No, that's not a big deal. That's not a fight. A fight is if you say something. You hear what Rashi's saying? You say the wrong thing to your wife, you're done forever. Forever. It's Evas Olam. You could divorce your wife and then take her back and she's fine with it. Why? Because Yada, she understands the Yasa Limkar. She chaps why he divorced her. Because he wants to do business. It's good for him to get into the 103 billion. Okay, she was mad at him for a few days because it's a divorce and the whole world knows she's divorced now and it's very embarrassing. But at the end of the day, she chaps. But if, you remarried her, yeah. You gave her a stickle dinner, you made a chasana for her. I don't know. I think it's a Musar Haskell. You say the wrong thing to your wife, they never forget. They'll always bring it up. But you can divorce her. It's better divorce than fight with her. As I state in Rashi. Stefansky said, divorce the wife. Okay. Yeah. Do not take Shalom Beis advice from me. You know what I found out yesterday? That the guy that wrote Men Are From Mars and Women From Venus, I never knew. He's divorced 4 times. What? He writes in Agdama. I don't read Agdamas. I go straight to chapter 1.
Each chapter was a different one.
Yeah. It's like I heard that he writes that I'm working on my marriage to my 4th wife, and then he divorced her also later on. He sold I don't know how many millions of copies. My wife has a relative, I'm not going to say it's a famous relative. He wrote a book, it's on Amazon. He wrote a book, How to Get a Job. The guy never had a job in his life. Never had a job. Seriously. Don't believe these books. They sell this guy a book for me? How can I write a book like that when I have no shaykhs? No shaykhs. So true. Listen to this. There was a yibum going on. There's a here. Fine. We have the famous case. Ruvain is married to Rachel. And it happens to be that after Ruvain, look what happens here. Check this out, Rabbi Isai. When he goes sideways, he leaves a very big Yerusha. Now, who's older, you or Avi? Avi, how old are you?
He's older.
Avi, you're older. You have the white beard. Okay, so halachically, Avi, or Levi in this case, is miyabim this yivama. He should. We go to the oldest brother. Shimon is a little nervous. He chaps what's going on here. There's a pile of cash here. Now, if this chalitza, what happens to the cash? They divide it 50-50. But if Levi marries her, miyabim her, Levi gets the entire pile of cash. What does Shimon do? He's smart. He goes to a cipher, he writes a get, and he's going to toss it to her. He's just going to throw it at her. And that get, midrabanan, is like a chalitza, right? That we learned in Yivamas. And she's a chalutza, you can't be miyabimer. He gets 50% of the $1 million. Great idea. Comes Levi, the Cheverman, he chaps what's about to happen. He sees him running towards the Yivama with a get in his hand. No, what do you do? I want to marry her. What do you want? You want half of the money? I'll give you half of the money, no problem. Here, let's make a kinyan. They do a kinyan, Shalom Yisroel. And then, when it's all over, he marries her. Levi says, a feig. Great Maisa. These are great brothers. Amalei. So the brother Shimon, he decides he's going to give her a get, and he gives her a get. He's going to gain half of the Yerusha. Amalei. So Levi says, "My daidach. Well, what are you trying to do here? Say, all you care about is money. All you care. You're such a selfish person. I know, but what's the big deal? I'll give you half." He even did a kinyan on it. Omer Rav Yosef, Kivin Omer Rabbanon Lo Zaben. Since Rav Yosef is of the opinion, we're going to see this machlekes. Rosner, the opinion says the Yavam has no right to sell anything. Avagav the Zaben Lo Yav Zvine. He had no right to give anything at that time to his brother. It's not his to give away. And then Mela what? So Levi turns to Shimon and says, "You see that lake over there? Go jump in it." And from that day on came the saying, "Jump in the lake." Right? Otherwise, I don't know. It's from here, from this Gemara. Okay. So the B'char doesn't owe anything. Levi doesn't have to give him a dime. Says the Gemara, the Sanya, Misha meis v'niach shemeres yavam. Yeah. By the way, Stam, the entire Yevamis, I control myself. I didn't say this Maisa. Everybody knows the story, but now covered Rosh Chana. I think it's a true story. A kid, you could put that thing back on. It's good for the story. A kid in school, the Rebbe asked, "Do you know what a gibum is?" He says, "Yeah." If a brother dies without hair, he's bald. Then he says, "Bald? What are you talking about?" He says, "Yeah." It says in the art scroll, hairless. Heirles. So he's hairless. And now I was thinking, because we have the Baldwin brothers, Mamish passed, this Maisa Mamish passed. He saw it in the art scroll, he saw the screen, and he sees everybody's bald. Hairless. Bald people. Okay. Huh? Yeah. So you kid and cheder, what do you expect from him? Huh? Yeah. They're still there. He's not even, I don't know if he's alive anymore. It's like in the 80s he played for the Bears. Yeah. It's only me and you know what's going on in a couple of people in Chicago. Okay. Weiter. It's the best investment. You get a billboard, like you pay them 1 month, and they say, "Okay, take it off." And it just stays there for 17 years. Like those buses, the buses. Nobody knows what we're talking about. Only the old guys. Okay. People still, I was that thing I paid to be on the back of a bus. Unbelievable. So true. What it's happening, they got an advertisement fee on the back of the bus, and it was supposed to be for how long? A month? And it stayed for 2 years, and then COVID came, and nobody's advertising the buses, and the bus is going around and around, and they got the biggest bang for the buck. Everybody said, from then, that's how they wrote the book. Now, is that true? Huh? Oh. Person who dies and he leaves a Yavama and he left 100 times the amount. Her ksuba is 100. He left her 100 times 100. I don't know what that is, so I went to Panovich. He cannot sell anything, even though he has 100 times the amount of money to pay her ksuba whenever he feels like paying her ksuba. He shouldn't, like the Bill Gates thing, 103 billion, and the ksuba is $3,000. He could pay it up. No, everything is achroy for the ksuba, and memela he's not allowed to sell. So Rav Yosef is of the opinion you can't sell. Abaya argues. What if he does sell, it doesn't count. Wasnan. Remember, we just learned this in the Mishnah. I'm doing this for the Rosh Koilo because he wasn't here. Here we go. But I did show it to him. You have the 3 stages in life. You have before Erisin, after Erisin, and after Nisuin. So what happened was this Kala, after she became a Arusa, she got an inheritance. And then she sold it. Now she's not supposed to sell it according to Beis Hillel. According to Beis Shammai, she could sell it. According to Beis Hillel, she shouldn't sell it. But if she sold it, what's the halacha? According to Beis Hillel, it works. So here you have a case where you're not supposed to sell, and you sell. That's our case. That if she went ahead, even though she wasn't supposed to sell, it's a good sale. So by us also, even though the Yavam shouldn't sell, it should be a good sale. They said the halacha is like Rabbi Yosef, that if you sell, it's nothing. What? He made it beautiful. How did he dress it up with jewelry? Like, he didn't explain why. No, the halacha is like Abaya, that if the Yavam sells his zchus, even though he shouldn't have sold his brother's stuff, but he did, it works. And if you know a good reason why Rabbi Yosef said his halacha that doesn't work, let me know. Another Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yosef himself, which he's Abaya's Rebbe, Dok v'ashkach. He went out to find a place, a raya for himself, the Saga. You have two brothers. So we have here. Okay, yeah. You have two brothers. You have the brother, Reuven lent money to Shimon. And Reuven goes bye-bye. Reuven is a malva, Shimon is a loiva. He borrowed money from his own brother. Now what happens, very interesting, what happens after the brother dies? The brother goes bye-bye. On the one hand, Shimon could say to himself, I get everything. All Reuven's money comes to me. So why should I pay up the loan? It's going from one pocket to another. And he left a Yavama. In many ways, going to inherit all the money. Because now we have a ksuba that has an achrayis for nechasim. So we have to take this money. You have to take the money that Shimon owes his late brother and buy a field with it. Okay. So the Gemara says, listen to this. It's a cheshbon, says Rabbi Yosef. If I'm going to take money away from Shimon and put it on the side, so certainly if Shimon goes and sells his brother's karka, I'm going to take it away from Shimon. You hear the cheshbon? If Shimon owes money to Reuven, I take the money out of Shimon's wallet, and what do I do with it? I buy a field. So if Shimon went ahead and sold something that already has a chrayis and a shibud to the Yavama, and he goes ahead and he sells it, I'm going to grab it away, I'm going to take it out of him. It's a beautiful raya. Who says we take it out? Maybe we're just trying to be nice and give him a good eitzah, put it on the side so you have something to pay later on. We use the lashon moitzin, we take it out. But that's a favor? By the way, this whole raya that you just brought, Rav Yosef you just brought, is not a good brisa. My taima, because we're talking about money, and money doesn't. You can't make that a shiba to a ksuba. It's not doesn't have a. You don't use that as a guarantee to the ksuba. The remainder okay, let's stop over here because I have to do slichas. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day, a good gebench shiur, ksivah chasim v'toiva. Tomorrow shir at 4:30 right here in the Beis Medrash, 1 hour before Mincha. Motzei Yontif, 9:30, 2 shiurim.